Hello everyone, Call for Zero. This video is a Mandela Effect Alive Again presentation. I have three that I'm familiar with. One is Jim Neighbors passing away during the AIDS news cycle and then reappearing many years later to pass away 5 months after reappearing. Another is Kirk Douglas passing away at age 91 and then returning and passing away at 103. And the third is one that you probably won't hear anywhere else. But I saw Eric von Däniken, he's the Chariot of the Gods author, give a talk in Canada around 7 or 8 years ago. And he was overweight, pale, puffy-faced, and didn't have good balance. A 30-year-old man dressed in black held his elbow and helped him to the podium. He gave his talk, and he just did not look good. And I think we're all familiar with that look where you're really concerned about somebody. And he passed away that night. I saw the news. Eric von Däniken, author, passed away. About 2 years later, which would be about 2022, 2023, I was researching ancient culture, pyramids, and there was Eric alive talking. He had lost 25 pounds. His face was thinner, his color had returned, his balance looked okay, and he had the spark in his eyes again. He looked okay. And I believe he's alive to this day. I don't know what happened there, but 8 years ago, he had a very rough night and passed away on my timeline. I have a friend in another state, a musician, who 20 years ago played in a small club band. And typically at small clubs, they have 2 or 3 bands that come in, one Friday night, one Saturday night, and they alternate around, and the guys get to know each other. And he tells me that a band member in another band passed away on an overdose, and that it shocked the community and everybody was bummed out. And then 2 years ago, he reported that the passed away band member is alive, living in another town in the state. So it's a very difficult thing to grasp. Many people remember Gene Wilder passing away twice. Same with Billy Graham, twice. And of course the bass Nelson Mandela, early 1980s, and then again after he was somehow president of South Africa. I had no idea he was president of South Africa, and they say, well, the president has passed away, and I was shocked. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. So the following video is a lady in her 40s. You'll see that she's intelligent, she seems sober, stable, and she talks about her experiences with Mandela Effect Alive Again. Have a good week, everyone, and thank you for checking my videos.
So, Billy Graham died 2 days ago. Or, let me get that right, yesterday. And here's the deal, that was February 21st. I think he died in 2012 because I remember it really well. And in fact, the reason I think he died in the summer of 2012, I think it might have been August, is because I remember thinking to myself, oh my God, it's the Mayan end year calendar thing, 2012. It's the end of the world, maybe. And I kind of had a thought pattern along the lines of Billy Graham dodged a bullet, or he got out of Dodge before the, shit hit the fan. And that's my memory, guys, so I have an anchor memory to his death. I wasn't a big fan of Billy Graham, or nor did I dislike him, but I knew who he was because I was quite intimate with the born again Christian movement when I was in my late teens. So evangelical movement. So I want to bring up something else right now. I want to talk about the idea that maybe the Mandela effect and the rising up of people to keep living again to eternal life, like Nelson Mandela or Billy Graham and other celebrities, is in fact the hidden code of the word eternal life in the Bible. And what would that imply if that's true? Like, in other words, did Jesus actually rise up from a tomb and walk around in a body that had partially decomposed? Or is that an eternal life thing and rising from the dead a metaphor for the disciples seeing Jesus going, hey, dude, what are you doing alive? Because he was in a timeline in which he wasn't crucified. I know that's heretical. Even references to like people rising in the end days from the grave. Is that a metaphor or a biblical code for the fact that in these end times, timelines are merging, and we seem to be shifting into timelines constantly where people who have died have risen again or who have risen in, one timeline have died in another. And so here's an example. I was a young woman and I was driving my car and I almost hit a deer. I had a prescient moment of don't turn that corner quickly, and I missed the deer. Had I hit that deer at full speed, a buck, in my little car, I likely wouldn't have survived it. Okay, it would have been a high-speed collision head-on. And so my question is there a version of me who at 24 or 5 didn't make it? And then there's this version of me here who did, and maybe I can have bleed-throughs of those timelines? Yet, in the sense that one version of me didn't survive, this one does. Therefore, here is eternal life. I was talking to you in the winter of Vancouver, Canada, at the end of a sunny day, a rare sunny day, with my dog sitting here. I just took her for a walk. Leela, want to say hi? There she is. So that's a question I want to bring to you. Crazy, weird idea. What does eternal life really mean? What is the code that the Bible's talking about? Come on, let's be serious. We don't really think that people who are rotting in their graves, for instance, in the end times after the second coming of Jesus, are going to get out of the graves like skeletal, zombie-like beings. I think eternal life and rising again is a metaphor. And if this is a simulation, which I don't know that reality is a simulation, but if it was, it also simply implies that we simply change storylines, right, within the sim. If it's not a simulation and it's real, in the real-ish as we get, then in the multiverse, there are so many timelines that you can have eternal life, because where your consciousness resides is where you live. And you can keep living by moving from one timeline to the other. So if this body, craps out on me for whatever reason, why don't I shift to a timeline where it didn't? Just thinking about it, guys. Just thinking about it. Don't shoot me, and please don't troll me. If you're a born-again fundamentalist Christian, I bless you. I wish the best for you. Don't troll me and tell me I'm going to hell. All right, I just think about this. It's an idea, okay?